know what you stand for? If you do you know why you stand for it? Do you know what standards you have? Do you actually abide by them? Do you know what your values are? Oh, such big questions. Yet when it comes to learning how to love ourselves, we have to get to know who we are. And if we don't know what we value, what we stand for, then it's very difficult for us to get an understanding of who we are. Welcome to Self-Love Lessons with Luna.
Love Luna.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Self-Love Lessons with Luna. It is such a pleasure to have you here. Shout out to everybody on the podcast. If you're catching me on the YouTube, wonderful to have you there, as well as Facebook and Instagram TV. I'm all over the social media stuff. So if you want to catch me on TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, oh gosh, where else am I? Catch me on Twitch. Yes, I'm actually making this live on Twitch as we speak. Hello! Follow me on all the social medias, and if you haven't yet and you'd like to get your 5 secrets to Bulletproof Confidence ebook, head to www.moreconfidence.com.au. There's lots of resources there for you as well, and an opportunity for you to get that and maybe start to build some of that confidence within inside of you. It'd be lovely to have you. Often these episodes, these self-love lessons with Luna, come really out of my own life. They come from my own experiences. They come from a place of things that I have done. I've either done them for myself or I've had conversations with somebody about this very topic. Often it might be my clients, but I'm spending more and more time chatting with people online. And I'm having conversations and listening to them in terms of their limits and how self-esteem and the lack thereof, it stops them. What gets in the way? And I was having a conversation with a chap from the States on Facebook just the other day. And we got to talking about him looking after himself, about how he doesn't really know how to, build the momentum of learning how to self-love. And so when I asked the question about getting to know yourself, the answer was, well, I don't really know who I am. Isn't this a common thing? That we feel like we don't often know who we are. If we have been people that have people pleased and given so much to other people, it becomes quite difficult for us to return back to our own center and actually decide who we are, what we stand for, and what we love, let alone actually coming to a place where we like ourselves, then maybe love ourselves. Because don't you think it's a bit of a big jump? Yes, Hollywood portrays this love at first sight, that you saw that person from across the room and you fell madly and lovely and deep with them. You knew you were going to marry them for the rest of your life in that one split second of a moment. Oh, it's magical, isn't it? Yeah. And yes, you might feel that way, but there's still practicalities when it comes to love. There's still ideas about who you need to be. There is still communication that you need. You still need respect. You still need love to continue on. It doesn't just happen in a flash. And it's the same with ourselves. This is a relationship. So when we talk about coming to ourselves and falling in love with ourselves, if you don't know who you are, then it is nearly impossible to love yourself. It's very difficult to like somebody that you don't know very well. You might like a perception of them, but as soon as you start to get to know them and dig a little bit deeper, you might find that you don't like them as much. So you need to dig a little bit deeper into yourself. If you already think that you don't like yourself, it's probably because you don't know yourself very well. And so when you go to stand for something, you don't have anything to stand for, so you fall for anything, and then you're just kind of floating out, getting bumped along the way against this person and that person and this person and that person, never really having a true sense of stability in your life. It's always external. Self-love is a relationship, and we need to understand that in that context. Because if you wanted to be in a loving relationship with somebody long term, it takes work. Again, Hollywood might, portray this vision of, oh, and we kissed and we had a hard time, but we lived happily ever after. It's crap. That's not how real relationships work. It takes time and effort and energy, conversations, communication. And that's true for romantic relationships, for our friendships, and it's never more true than with yourself. You are the one that you are with for the rest of your life. You need to get to know yourself. Most people have a very surface level relationship with themselves. It's rather transactional. You know, in the same way that some people might have a one night stand, or in the same way that you go and you meet the cashier at the supermarket. Hi, how are you? Hand the money, grab the groceries, off you go. That's very common when it comes to us. When it comes to ourselves, it's transactionary. Body goes here, body goes there. Ignore ourselves by watching Netflix, by eating food, by substance abuse. Don't pay attention to what's actually going on. Just go along. Yeah, sound familiar? It's like we just ignore ourselves entirely. Unless we have to face stuff that's going on, that's the only time that we do. When we have a transactional relationship with ourselves, we will always feel disconnected. We feel misaligned within ourselves. And the self-love cannot awaken within us. The only way for us to actually realize how valuable we are is to get in touch with who we are and spend more time and to understand ourselves, to go beyond those surface levels and to actually expand the relationship. Simply put, we get to know ourselves really well when we understand our values. When you know what your values are, you can really see that they permeate through every single part of your existence. Our values shape us. And if you don't know what your values are, it's likely that you've either picked up on the values of society or you've picked up on the values of your parents or those people around you. Now, sometimes that's good. Sometimes that works for you. But are there values in the world that you don't really agree with? Are there values in your family that you don't really like? It's kind of important to ponder that, don't you think? I always do this. So when I looked at a specific word like values, I want to actually see what the dictionary says. I have my own ideas about what a value is, but let's see what the dictionary says. So our value, listen to this, the regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. So that's the first definition that my Google dictionary pulls up. The second definition is principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life. So we're looking at two different meanings there. We're going, what's important in my life, the judgment or standards of behaviors, and then the value of something intrinsically. Is gold valuable? When we have these two things side by side, they mean, value can mean either of those things. But when I look at those meanings, it's as though they mean the same thing. Because think about it just for a moment. If we have something that's inherently valuable, and then these are my values, don't they come from the same place? Because if I don't think that I'm valuable, am I likely to have strong values? Well, no, because the values are listed within being valuable. Most people don't feel important on this end of the spectrum because they don't feel worthy. They don't feel worthy and important. If they don't feel like they're valuable, then how do they have strong values? Because let's break down the word valuable for a second. We have value, we have able, valuable, valuable. We are able to have and hold value. Values are being the things that are driving us. So if we are not clear on our values, then we do not feel value within ourselves, therefore we're not valuable. Make sense? There's a huge amount of values that you can have. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you how to actually figure out what some of your values are. Also know that sometimes over your life, your values will change. We've all met somebody, and I've been someone myself who's maybe gone from being a carnist, a meat eater, to then not being a meat eater. somebody who's been vegan or sometimes goes back to being a meat eater. The values can change and shift as you do. So it's not like they're set in stone that if you feel this way now, then you have to feel that way forever. But it is important to get just a check as to where you are at right now in your existence. Just because they might change one day down the future doesn't mean that it's not important and valuable to learn them right now. Because if you learn them right now, you get a better understanding about you. You understand that when something happens externally and you're triggered or a boundary is being crossed, it's because it's one of your values. Or you understand that you're okay with doing that thing over there that perhaps might be illegal because you're still within your values. Let me give you a couple of examples of mine. So one of my strongest values is integrity. Now, that can be a quite complicated word for a lot of people. For me, integrity is that I stay within who I believe that I am. So I pretty much got to know who I am in order to have integrity as a value. I need to know that I'm staying within my own being, that I'm listening to my truth, that I'm paying attention to what my body needs at all times. That's how I stay in my integrity. It's an important one for me. Another one is growth. Oh, I live to grow. I love to grow. So if I'm in situations that aren't growing me in any capacity, sure, is going to the grocery store helping me grow? Probs not. But does that mean I'm not sticking to my values? No. It just means that the overarching theme of my life is to grow. And if there are things or relationships or people or places that are hindering my growth, then I am out of alignment with my values and then I don't feel valuable. I don't feel valuable. That also helps me to line up with my integrity. The third one for me is spirituality. I can't even say the word. Spirituality, 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 spirituality. I went to actually, when I was feeling into this, going, you know what it is? It's actually about being connected. And when I thought about being connected, it's like one of my values is to be connected internally. And that's where I have my spirituality. There you go, my spirituality. That's where my spirituality is, when I'm connected to myself and to nature and to the world. So spirituality is so important to me as a value because, again, it's one of my guiding forces. Let's have a look at our values in terms of that kind of North Star. It's the way in which I grow towards and seek towards and live towards. I live towards integrity. I live towards growth, and I live towards spirituality. And it's not like I just have 3 and that's it. There is a huge long list of all the things that I value in the world. Same with you. There will be an enormous list of values that you can come up with. But it's likely that about 3 to 5 values are the things that's going to drive you, and that most of the other values will fall underneath the umbrella of that. I'm going to show you a few steps now on how to actually come to figure out what your values are. So bear with me, because I want to show you how so many of my other values fall under the umbrellas of each of these things. Let's go. So number 1 is I want you to write just as many values as you can think. As many values as you can think. Just go absolutely bonkers. Write down all the values that you think might be important to you. Is it love? Is it connection? Is it family? Is it compassion? Is it caring? Is it being a jerk? I don't know what your values are all about. Maybe you do like to be a narcissistic prick. Not up to me to decide that. I'm not going to look at your list, and sure is nobody else. I doubt those people who are watching are going to want that. But, is it about being generous? Is it about being kind? Do you like growth? Do you like achievement? What is it that makes you come to life? What do you feel as though are standards of behavior that you would like to live by or live to? With that, it's yes about things that you love, but, one of your value isn't your dog. Okay, yes, you value your dog, but it isn't one of your values. But you could think about some of your values in association with your dog. So companionship might be a value. It's one of your values to have companionship in your life, to look after other beings. That might be a value for you. Not the dog itself, but what it means to you is where you can elicit the values. Got it? Number 2, you might get really short list. You might feel as though, oh my, I can't come up with any values. Am I just a robot existing on this planet? Never fear. What I want you to do is go to Google. Go to Google and ask Google for a values list. Here's a little example. There are literally thousands of values lists that you can find on the internet. So I'm just going to give you a few. Ability, abundance, acceptance, accomplishment, achievement, acknowledgement, adaptability, adequacy, adroitness, adventure, affection, affluence, alertness, aliveness, ambition, amusement, anticipation, appreciation, approachability, artfulness, articulacy, assertiveness, assurance, attentiveness, attractiveness, audacity, availability, awareness, awe, balance, beauty, beingness, chastity, choosefulness, clarity, classy, cleanliness, cleverness, closeness, cognizance, comfort, commitment, compassion, competence, complacency, completion, composure, concentration, confidence, conformity, congruency, connection, consciousness, consistency, contentment, continuity, contribution, control, conviction, conviviality, coolness, cooperation, copiousness, determination, devotion. Dexterity, dignity, diligence, diplomacy, direction, directness, discernment, discretion, discipline, discovery, discretion, diversity, dreaming, drive, duty, dynamism, eagerness, economy, ecstasy, education, effectiveness, efficiency, elation, elegance, empathy, encouragement, endurance, energy, enjoyment, fairness, faith, fame, fascination, fashion, fearlessness, fidelity, fineness, finesse, firmness, fitness, flexibility, flow, fluency, fluidity, focus, fortitude, frankness, freedom, friendliness, frugality, fun, gallantry, generosity, gentility, genuine, giving, grace. How many more can I possibly go? Support, structure, teamwork, stability, service, self-actualization. Is there any more? Would you like some more? Wonder, wisdom, winning, welcoming, wealth, vitality, vision, vigor, victory, valor, unity, uniqueness, understanding, truth, trustworthy, trust, transparency, tranquility, traditional, tough, tolerance, timelessness, thoughtful, thorough, thankful, temperate, teamwork, talent, sustainability, surprise, support, success, structure, strength, stewardess, status, stability, spontaneous spirituality. There's the spirituality again. Spirit, solitude, smart, optimism, skill, self-reliance, self-awareness, self-love, selflessness, responsibility, restraint, reason, recognition, recreation, prosperity, poise, potential, power, peace, passion, patience, joy, justice, kindness, lawful, leadership, improvement, independence, honesty, health, growth, greatness, grace, excellence, equality, heaven, feminism. Not even close to saying everything of the list that's on the internet. There's a lot. So go to the internet, scour, see all the words that you could possibly think and feel like what feels good to you. Do you like that one? Do you not? Write a big exhaustive list, even if it's 20, 30, 50, 100, write a really big list. And step number 3, now that you have a really big exhaustive list, I want you to kind of channel it down and decide what words, what values can kind of fit underneath other values. What are kind of similar? So for me, I like to be honest, right? Sometimes honesty isn't always the best policy. Sometimes living in my integrity is about being kind. So honesty and kindness can sometimes clash, but honesty can fall under integrity. Yeah, so it means that I'm staying within my integrity. So that's the umbrella value. Integrity, honesty, truth, trustfulness, all of those things can fall under that same umbrella. So go ahead, take some time and find out, just to cull it all down and see if maybe there's 3 to 10 values that all the others can fall underneath. Step number 4, now that you have that kind of umbrella values, you have a whole list underneath them, but you also have that 3 to 10. Now what I want you to do is really feel into it. What are the ones, what are the top 3 that you look across that list and go, you know what, I don't know if I could be without that. Maybe you feel like that about all 10 of them, but which ones really light you up? Which ones really drive you each and every single day? Which ones are the one that's, yes, that's so true, that's so me? Get clear on that. Now that you have established your values, now that you understand who and what you stand for, at least in this moment in your life, then you can start to live by them. You can live by your integrity. You can live by your kindness or your generosity. And I tell you what, if those are some of the values that you've picked, then it's going to start with you. My integrity starts with me. My growth starts with me. My spirituality starts with me. And then I have enough to give to everybody else. When you live from this space of knowing your values, you become aligned. Instead of being sort of your head over here, your heart over here, your body not even the picture, you come towards a sense of inner alignment. When we feel inner alignment, we are more connected to self-love and we feel more peaceful. I really hope that you go and actually do this exercise. It's going to bring so much benefit into your life. Do you have any questions? Is it boggled you at all? Is any of the videos that I watch have questions? Please just reach out to me on whatever platform that you want to. You know, you can DM me, PM me on Facebook, Instagram. My email is loveyourself@moreconfidence.com.au, so you can reach me there. Shoot me a text, 0403 981 597. I'm all over the shop and I love hearing from you. And I do reply. I will absolutely reply to your text and your emails and your DMs. So if you have questions, please do just let me know or just leave a comment. If you have any specific topic that you feel like, oh, I really would love to learn how to do that. I would love to learn how to set boundaries with my ex-partner. I'd really like to learn how to say yes more in the bedroom, or I'd really like to learn how to say no to bullies. Let me know and I'll make a video. If I know how to overcome it, I will absolutely make a video just for you. It'd be my pleasure. Thank you so much for watching. It is just, I just love having you here. I love making these videos every week, and I love that there's a community sense that's been built around this. And I'm hoping that it's helping. I would love to hear your feedback. How are the videos working for you? Are they giving you a sense of self-love? Are you learning about yourself? I'd really love to hear from you. That'd be really rad. You know, I know that this journey is difficult. I know that sometimes it can be really hard to kind of get out of your own way in order to come back into that alignment. And I also know that one-on-one coaching or one-on-one work isn't for everybody. It is for some, and if you're interested in that, feel welcome to get in touch. But I also get that sometimes working in a group kind of setting from a more affordable point of view is something that a lot of you want. So starting on the week of June 14th, 2020, in a few more weeks coming, I will be launching the Self-Love Awakening. Yes, it's an inner alignment container. Just 12 women maximum. We're going to have weekly lessons, all done online, of course. We're still falling in lines with the COVID and what we are in the world. So we have group sessions every single week where I go through certain topics to help you get more connected, get out of your head, enjoy your body a lot more, learn how to set boundaries in a way where we can actually interact. And then every week we have group coaching calls. So literally you will get to have some one-on-one time with me where I work through an issue with you, and everybody else gets to tune in on that and get the value from it. So whether or not you're being coached that day or watching other people get coached, it is a hugely valuable experience for everybody. I would love to have you on board. Again, you know where to find me, so just hit me up. It's only about $450 and you can go on a payment plan. So that's available to you. It's coming out in June. I would love, so love for you to be a part of this very precious container so that you can finally learn how to love yourself. Until next time, until I see you live on Monday on Facebook, until I see you next Friday with Self-Love Lessons with Luna, I'll catch you on the podcast. Happy self-loving.